Recording in progress. Next, let's see if this is going out live. Mrs. Dillon hasn't joined us just yet. No, look, there I am. Oh dear, why's that going on like that? Turn this off. Recording in progress. Next, let's see if this is going out live. Do you know what? I get on me. I get on my own nerves all the time. Shut up, you buffoon. How's everybody doing? Wherever you are in the world, in this mad, mad, mad world. D. Have you been on with Shanine yet? I'm not. I think was that Monday. I'm going to try and get on and barrack you both if I can. I hope you're keeping well, darling. Um. Talk of the devil. Great start here. You are now live. Please do not swear. It's not possible for me. If swearing emerges, it's coming through from the divine itself. Right. Be that masculine, feminine, or both. Who knows? Has anybody got any idea what's going on in the world and what it's all about? I was hoping that my lovely friend from down under would enlighten us. Bo, my love, I saw your name there. Where have you gone? I saw you pop in. Don't be at it now. I hope you're keeping well as well. Mother Earth herself. So yeah, oh Joe, express your beautiful self. You, my love, need your eyes testing or something like that. Yeah, so I'm knackered. I've got to be honest with you. I'm tired. I find the last few weeks I've been on the go all the time. Is it ego that's driving me? Is it my innate intelligence that motivating me? Is it my animus? Is it my anima? Or is it somewhere and both or both and animum? Animum. I don't know. So I'll wait now till Elsa pops in. I hope she's all right. I might just go and check. Just bear with me while I reach down here for my iPad. There we are. Come over here, son. That's it. Tiddly, ding, 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 ding. Ah, there she is. I don't need to do that now. Stop swearing now, everybody. Elsa's Elsa's coming in. Let's see. She's like the boss, you know. Spin beings indeed. Ah, Mrs. Dillon, good day.
Good morning.
Morning, afternoon, evening, welcome. Now, for some reason, why have I got there's a big picture of you. Just bear with me while I organize my view here. Video set. I can't. I've got no idea what's going on. That'll do. How you doing?
I'm good.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I was just saying to the people who are here, a load of scallywags actually, and they're all saying hi, Elsa. The
Oh, thank
astronomy
you.
is going wild. My teacher has gone into hiding. I'm off to do a Buddhist puja ritual, sending you so many blessings. Thank you. Accepted with gratefulness. So yeah, I've got no idea what's going on as normal. I don't plan these things. We just turn up and see what emerges, really.
Yeah. Well, it's we're in the stored sun, so everyone's gone a little bit hermit. Is that how it feels?
Yeah. Well, I felt that the last 2 weeks have been so powerful. And I've got this attitude of I really don't know what's going on, and people think I do, and I don't, because
Mm,
I trust something deep inside me, and it seems to be doing a good job. And I don't think I'm going to get anything I can't handle as long as I keep close to that, really. And I think if I get into my head and start fantasizing and start imagining things, I think it just takes me off track. So I just sit in me heart, which is the core, because that means hearts, doesn't it? And I
yeah.
was given an impression of look at a tangerine, Joe. The tangerine. I think, oh, where we go. Right. Thanks very much. Can you give me a clue what you look like? And I get this picture of like a tangerine emerges, with all these segments. So there's like a core in the middle, This is one that's still got pips in, you know. It's a core in the middle, right? And there's like 12 segments on the outside. I think, oh, that's okay. I can handle that, you know. So I've been bombarded with all that sciencey stuff, you know, that quantum science and things, and I still don't fully understand what's going on, but they are helping me. They being this innate intelligence. I honestly, gotta be honest here, I don't really know what a soul is, except I know what it feels like. And then we get into what is an oversoul. I think, oh, here we go. What's the difference between a soul and an oversoul and the spirit and are the different dimensions? See, give us a clue, because you're knowledgeable about these things, aren't you?
That's funny. Um, you know what's funny is that you just go, I just worked out what the spirit was. What do you mean? And then you get all these other names. And it's funny because when I came on social media, the Dillon family had made up their own names. So I had to, so they would be saying some spiritual term is this, and I'd be going, what does that mean in our language? So you have to be interpreters. It's what happens is when you get together with other people and you just start openly sharing, you'll work out which one it is together. And you might have actually been talking about the same thing. And people say to me, oh, well, yeah, but you're talking about ETs. And I go, or angels, doesn't matter. Uh, just because we're labeling them doesn't mean they look at that way and they don't. It's just like you can keep coming back to frequency. How can you label frequency? Because frequency is always adjusting and changing, and that's us. So you can give her all the labels you want, Elsa, but it feels like this, and it feels like this, and it feels like this. So when you say, I don't know who my oversoul is or my soul is, you never will. Because that's creation, and creation doesn't want you to get it. It wants you to keep getting it.
Yeah,
And and that's so cute about you, Dr. Joe, because you're like, oh, all right. You treat creation like a student. You know you do, right?
yeah,
You're
yeah,
like, okay, come on. What project have you got now? And I'll go through it and we'll see where you've come up with. Like it's quite a playful. I've never looked at someone treating creation as a student, but it's nice because it makes me smile and I go, I actually can see how you're processing your way through it. Makes me feel like you're safe. You and your family are safe. And your kitties, you've got a lot of serious kitties there.
yeah. Absolutely. I mean, they are my life, really. Me girls, I call them the three girls, me three girls, my wife and
Three.
the two cats, you know, because they're like children to me, you know, and so with my human children, I have the same feeling for them, you know, and whether that be, you know, human love, whether it be divine love, whether it be, Elsa, I don't care. I really don't
Yeah.
care.
Well,
And
the other thing is that you give them great importance, right? And because these beings are in your life every day, people don't realize that the the pets are doing the galactic or spiritual work with you. They're on this journey with you. But us humans separate it because we're labeling all the time. That's why when I'm talking to people, I'm like, what did your cat say? Really? Wow. He's like a sensei. Yes.
well, I agree because we've got one cat, Pumpkin. She's 19 years
Pumpkin.
of age. Yeah. And that equates to 133 years of age in human terms. She's
Wow.
blind and deaf, but
Yeah.
she's like me. She senses her way around, you know, she uses
Oh,
it's like a sonar, you know what I mean? So she can because we put it out in the garden if we can and she smells around and stuff. But you can see her almost knowing the pattern based upon the sonar. And that's basically how I live my life really is. You know, Elsa, I've said this before, it's 33 years ago. I let go of the management of my own life and I handed it over absolutely to the care of something that felt more intelligent than me. Now, some people call that God, some people call it spirit, call it what you like. As soon as we label it, it seems that we start falling out with terms, as you've just said.
oh
So
my
I don't,
gosh. It's a metaphor. You put the cat out.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you put your soul out.
Hmm.
Wow. That's amazing.
Well, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling now that this soul, it's an energy thing, it's a frequency, and it's emerging. I have a picture of, the little Michelin man. So the Michelin man is deep in my core. And what's happening now is, as all these astronomical, astrological changes are taking place, there's almost like it's being pumped up, right? Are you all right there? Do you want me to pat you on the back? Yeah, you'll be all right. Be all right now. Do you want a spittoon? Oh dear. Yeah, so I've got
Um,
this picture of the Michelin man, and he's being pumped up, and as he's being pumped up, because I don't have ascension like most people have the understanding of ascension. Mine's more like expansion. I see it more of an expansion really. And as the soul is expanding, it's almost like infiltrating every single cell of our human body. And when it comes up against an obstruction, because this is a cleansing process as far as I see it, or an emergency. So as the soul comes in, it almost finds a bit where it's obstructed or tangled, and that's when we get pain. So my understanding now is pain is the touchstone of our recovery, meaning that there's a blockage at that point that needs looking at. Now, what does that mean? It means it's either something that we're repressing and resisting, right? Or it's something that needs action taken on, or it's just something that we need to see in order to dissolve some sort of a karmic bond or something. I'm off again because I've got no idea what I'm talking about. But that's how I see things really. It's quite simple for me because it's not something that I need to understand in my head. It's just a feeling that I need to breathe through really. Over to you.
oh, so you said in aura. So in aura is a mining term or quarry. There's the two. But in aura is in order, and in order is it deals with like you said, compression because it's crustaceans and crustaceans of ourselves. This is how we have diamonds and different types of crystals because it's the contrast, it's the compression, it's the heat, it's the explosions, it's the meeting of the two in and awe. It's one part of a crystal meeting another part of the crystal, and they come together and then they become that type of crystal, which gets a label. But really, it's still this piece of dust and this piece of dust. It's just, it's turned green, or it's turned like a ruby or a diamond or gold, or just plain old metal. Like it doesn't have to be um shiny and special to be special either. It's just that is what it is. So, but it's compression, right? In contrast.
I agree. And that's how I see it myself. That's how I see it
Yeah.
myself. It's all about pressure and it's the release of pressure. And I think we've been in this sort of containment for such a long time that as the universe, if you like, is changing, different frequencies are being sent out, and it's almost like this cleansing energies coming through to say let go. And I had to say to somebody today, the pain isn't there, right? The pain's there because we're keeping hold of, right? There's no pain when you let go. So and what are we keeping hold of? Old ideas, old emotions, old attitudes, very formative forces that have created us up to now we're being asked to completely let go of now, right? And that's
So
the difficulty.
that's right. So Richard goes, oh, yeah, I'll let go of the pain, but I'm still looking at it. And he's looking at me.
Oh, I say words of love like that to my wife too. Oh dear.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. So
you have to integrate it in. So we got all that, Dr. Joe, and then you have to make it work into your work life and your day-to-day life at the shops and all this with normal people. And then you got to work it with your family life. It's a juggle, right?
of course, but
It's so
if you become aware of your breathing, And the way that you feel, if you keep an eye or a feeling or a sense of your heart, when you get good at it, you can feel it closing down. The close down is a perception of threat to the ego at depth. And most of the time we've got no idea. So the feeling of closing down is a lesson for us if we understand it to let go of something because we've just made a judgment at depth. So in the end, when they say, oh, don't judge, you can't not judge unless you understand that the heart doesn't judge anything. So if you're still judging, it must be based off some sort of a standard that you've collected over time. And it's just a comparison against that standard, isn't it? So to be free, we need to feel beyond mind. Good God. I'm recording this so I can play it back to myself later on.
Well, so to close down is not to wear. It's
Of
the
course, yeah,
same
yeah,
meaning. Yeah,
okay,
so you're
okay.
not wearing it, you close down. So you strip, you can become nude because that's how it feels. It feels so raw. But the words actually mean spin, ease, sense. So it is, it's a close down. But close down is how the galactic ones talk to us because they go, we're close, we're coming close, and we're coming down. But they don't look at it as final, they look at it as beginning.
Yeah,
So in that close down, and this is where people say to me, is it the end? And I say, well, no, that it can never be the end. It just can't. Saying it can be the end means you don't believe in the end. Yeah, it's like this. It's just it's eternal.
I agree.
You gotta wonder who, if someone's speaking these words of apocalypse and the end, you gotta feel into that and go, well, where's that coming from? Why does that feel so dramatic? Why are they needing that contrast?
I agree. Just bear with me while I change the view. There we are. Look, did that just change for you?
No, I'm still
Oh,
the same. I'm still
oh
upside down.
no. Well, I've just got finally back to where we're side by side now, on an equal footing, if you like. Right. I can't hear the word you're saying.
I said in my screen, I'm down the bottom, so I'm down under and
All
you're up
right,
the
okay.
top.
Well, now on my screen we're side by side. That's good. I wonder what the
Uh,
hell was going on there. So yeah, I've had lots of sort of insights, if you like, or inspirations, and I don't go outside anymore for information. I've said this to you before because everything that I need to know, me as an individual soul, whatever that means, right, is contained within me. So really, it's just about stuff that emerges, gets looked at, understanding comes from it, breathe away, make space for the next episode to come up, you know. And what I've been getting all week long is, Joe, help them to make space for the light to get in. That's all we've got to do. Help them to make space. And okay, then how do we do that? Show them relaxation techniques. Tell them about connective tissue massage. Tell them about stretching. Because all roads lead to yoga. And I'm saying, well, do you mean all those weird positions? No, no, that's only a small part of yoga. Yoga literally means when your masculine and feminine are working harmoniously together within you. That's what it means, Joe. Well, how do you get to that? Just become aware of your breathing because your breathing will take you back to your body. And if you start listening to your body rather than that mad head of yours, you're going to sort of be able to understand what to do next much more quickly. And I think that's the fast track. Because where I'm seeing all this business now, else it is, it's all about mind. It's all about matrix or matrices, more than one matrix. And it's really all about realignment and resetting the balance. And I think once the reset comes temporarily, there's a place of neutrality, which is peacefulness. And I think it's almost like there's nothing there, but it contains the potential to be everything. Good heavens. I better pass over to you quickly.
Well, what yoga is yoke.
Yeah.
It's to join, and yoga has been a big word. Well, not yoga, but Ewan has been a big word for me, and it's so cute because I'm talking to you, and they go, "It's Ewan. You're in. You're in. We've closed down. We've dropped you off, dropped the kids off planet Earth, and you're in." Yoke is need. Yoke is knees. Yoke made it brings you to your needs, makes you pray, breath, speech, tell, say sweet words, remember your breath, turn the other guys off for a bit. They're okay. They mean well. Turn them off. Come to your needs.
Do you want me to pop on a plane and come over there and do some healing?
Oh,
I'll send it.
oh, look, I honestly thought I was going to go last month. I was ready. Yeah. Um, the kids all came in like on my deathbed. They said they were talking to me, and I was just staring and staring out the window. And I had a few that were crossing over come to me at that time as well. So it was really look, at the end of the day, I know I might look weird, or the kids say I look like an ant sometimes or an ET, but I'm actually still a girl. I'm still a human. I'm still that kid that likes drawing and, riding a horse and planting things and cooking and eating chocolate. So you don't get this big manual, like you said. You don't have all the answers, but when it comes to you, sometimes it jolts you. And sometimes when your physique is not all there either, it says, you're not going to be able to handle this. We're going to lie you down for a little while. So I was down for, I think, counted with Mila, it was like 14 days, like horizontal.
Yeah.
And I've had this happen before, and instead of getting angry at it, I realized that whatever's coming in, because it was the Black Swan comet, your physique isn't going to handle it too well. So we're going to keep you safe. So we'll put you in a like a nursery for a little while. Yeah. So then I came back good, and the kids are like, "Mum, you've lost a lot of weight. It's quite serious." And I was like, "Okay, well now what am I going to do with that last bit that's left?" Like, you know. Um, yeah, so I've been really thinking about with the last bits that's left. So the in order that's left, what am I going to do with these last bits that are left? And I've actually gone, I'm not going to do that anymore. I've had enough of that. Not doing that anymore. And as I was getting on track and getting on path, um, some massive solar flares came out, and we warned everyone to stay low. And one of our closest friends fell off a ladder, and the same age as Richard, and um, he came to me just before his last moments, and I helped his family through it because I could hear what he was saying, and very weird, especially because it's when it's someone you know. And it's like we don't have we it's just the 10 of us, so we don't have any family members. So these people are like our family, and it's been a lot about Dr. Joe 777. So the day he passed, then the king's birthday, and then the funeral, which is my father's birthday on the 16th, which is Father's Day over there for you guys. So it's 777, something to do with the father. And so we went and seen a few people. The last words I said to him have come up so many times in people I meet. It's like they've tapped into someone they don't know's energy when they're around us, and they've said, "Oh, you need this." We Gemma took me shopping for a birthday shop, which was hell, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, these young teenagers, they can shop. She would not stop and let me have a coffee. I said, Gemma, this is like an absolute marathon. I've got leg pumps. She's going, we have two more shops. Stop complaining or I'm not getting you a coffee. And I'm like, is this role reversal or what? Anyway, we went and saw this friend who knew this other person that we were speaking about that crossed over. She gives me the same gift vision that he gave me when he just left as a gift. So we leave their place and I'm scratching my head going, this is crazy. And Gemma's going, it's crazy. And we go and I said, she says, what do you want now? She goes, I'll get you a coffee. I said, I want hot chips. And she goes, I'm not getting you hot chips at this time of night. I was like, this is such role reversal. Anyway, she takes me, we get the hot chips. As I get to the counter, number 777, number 777, your order's ready. And I'm going, are you kidding me? The guy next to me. Gemma looks at me and goes, oh, so you think your spiritual chips are going to make it better, don't you? And I'm like, yeah. And so people say to me, so where do you get your messages from? I go, hot chips, like really hot chips. But that's how it shows up. It's playful.
I
But
agree.
you, like you said, you got to allow that. And it's hard to turn all that seriousness off.
It is because, I've just had one of my friends, um, 15 years younger than me. He's just died of terminal cancer. We went to his funeral the other day, and I'm not an emotional person anymore. I used to be. At the drop of a hat, I'd be really emotional, generally angry, to be honest with you, and resentful. But I was there thinking, I can't feel anything at all. And then what they did was they came round then with little packets, and my head said to me, my ego head said to me, "Oh, they're looking for donations now." Right. Because I'm thinking, oh, here we go again, the material world, blah, 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 blah. Because I have that nibbling away all the time. And then they gave each of us a little sachet. See, I'm getting emotional talking about it, of wildflower seeds. Right. Well, I was away. I was away, you know what I mean? And it said on the bottom, Phil's final gift to you all. And I thought, oh my God. And that's what it gets me. My emotions are out of the blue. Just before I came on, before I was looking at something on Facebook, and it's where some of the American soldiers coming back from duty, and they haven't seen their kids for 8 months or their partners, right? And they hide from them. And then the door opens, and then the little girl runs into her dad's arms. Well, I'm just crying my eyes out, from nowhere. It just goes bloop, 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 bloop. And then the other side of me says, oh, behave your bloody self. But that's what I'm like. And I don't try and hide all this anymore. Because I know, Elsa, that I've repressed my emotions by closing my throat down. And I know that. And I've learned to fully express myself in a proper way. There's always a way to do it properly, I feel. But to keep me throat open and almost like my heart to speak through my throat before it gets into my head. Because if it gets into my head, I start editing and then changing the words. Because this is what my head does. It changes the words to try and refine, excuse me, to try and refine them, right? To either sound more eloquent, more articulate, but really, the idea is keep the bloody head out of the way. Just allow your heart speak for you, really, you know. And I don't do it all the time because I can feel it coming in and I think, oh, look at that's kicking in again. I don't know whether that's making sense, but we talked about compression, depression, oppression. The opposite of all these is expression, you know.
Well, it's refinement. So this is another mining term. So now I see a conveyor belt. So the message goes here and they go, we're not putting it on the conveyor belt. We're just letting it be. And I love I love Phil. I don't know if Phil used to take a lend of you, but he's probably going, that Dr. Jones thinks he's got it all sorted and he's not going to cry. I'll send him some
Yeah,
seeds.
yeah. But he, honest to God, he was such a beautiful, beautiful
Oh,
man, and
yeah,
he had such a feeling, when you were in his company, he just radiated like a security type feeling, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
he'd gone through hell and all this sort of business, and he found the sort of same place that I did, where he could release all this stuff. So maybe it's all part of a process.
Well, I think he sent you a very good message. Phil is power of hill, so power of peak. He sent you a seed, which is what you started this whole conversation about. It's just finding that seed in us, and the seed of a flower. So a lot of people say to us, "Oh, you can't plant that because it's been genetically modified." And I say, "Well, I still feel like this seed wants to have a go in the ground." So we still plant it. Sometimes we spit on it to give it our DNA.
Mm.
You know, there's a lot of spit on the farm.
Yeah, yeah.
And anyway, so we put it in the ground, and not all of them flower, come to fruition. And most of them don't fruit, the genetically modified ones, but they still grow. So you gave them that opportunity. And it's like the ones that actually do grow a seed, they're the toughest ones because they've been genetically modified, they've been heated and all this sort of stuff, and then they still produce a seed. It's not like a quality type seed, but we keep replanting it, and usually by the third cycle, it's like fully remembered itself. And this is what we're doing is we're remembering ourselves, we're remembering our past, we're remembering our galactic family, and then we're going, yeah, but I'm still a seed. Yeah. And seed is C2. That's what seed is C2, C2. And that's what the seed's doing. The seed's going, but I'm still a seed. And it sounds silly, right? But this Phil, he's he's brilliant. I like Phil.
Yeah. He was well loved, well loved, and he still is
Yeah.
well loved because I don't see that he's not gone as far as I'm concerned. It's that just moved into the next room, really. You
I've
know,
I've just met him.
yeah, yeah.
I like him.
He's lovely, and he looked like Jesus as well, right? He looked like Jesus.
All right, now you're giving me this
All
gentleman
right.
that passed. This gentleman that passed, everyone would call him, he was born in a barn. Everyone called him Jesus. That's why it was so weird because
Oh,
he passed.
I've got it
Then the
now as
next
well.
Monday, oh, all right, actually, you're gonna, I might have to shut up again and let you do a voice.
Yeah,
Have you got someone coming in?
yeah. Because when that comes in, see, I don't know how this works. I mean, I'm not making it up. I just sort of get out of the way and let it happen, really.
Oh,
And
whoever coming in on you pushes me out the way.
yeah, yeah,
I nearly fall off my chair.
and it's not just let feel oh God, I've just looked over here and this is very strange this.
Oh, oh, it's a cat.
It's
Oh,
Anubis.
that's a. Oh no. Okay. All right.
Look, okay, there we go. So there's that's just and there's and that's what happens is my attention gets drawn. I'm not going out for anything. I just that my attention gets drawn to things. And I can still feel that energy thing coming through my heart now. So I'm gonna say something in a minute. Or it's gonna say something. And people have said to me, you could be being possessed. You know what else? And I don't care because there's a part of me, right, that knows I'm safe. I've just got to look at my experience over the last 33 years, and I've come basically from hell and death's door, right?
Hmm.
And I've had such an interesting and joy-filled life. It's been bloody murder most of the time, but I know it's basically just an expansion. Moriach do siarta chondirach nach no sé. Chorí me sigureo to shendigare. Lodi absuri o dot ni sikrach no horde. Halam neskarot. Karasuriaram to shalajab yurnat. Kiri ab samtigra shamdele mo kura samtigroma. Choram yera sat choram. Kere sir yorum te Mortas garam dal. Kuram yera sat choy. Neta peshne healthy. And this is what happens now. They've got me doing this now. This is a funny thing, this. Right. Let me try and synchronize this if I can and get out the way. Halaptach na chore diset. Could some degree of shep the come on seer up noch the Sabigaron tunka sap de chulum era. Kiri yeron ser geram tashape. Lo tach na ure tapsik ook sham. La sotu mute ke sapte. Lo yam nura sapte kalam. Hora takes my hair. Shap ne chat mord a. No idea.
They gave you a wand. They're making you wand it in. So they also when you're using your hand, it's double because you're actually pushing it, the words as well. Giving this is why they like writing, because writing you can be expressive in it. So it gives heightened moments to heightened words. But I wouldn't be surprised if next time they give you a stick or something, you're gonna have to get a wide angle lens there because
Well,
it's
the stick's the staff, isn't it? Because I get that
yeah.
sometimes, the staff thing,
Mm,
and then the snake
mm.
thing. But I mean, I don't try and work it out. I mean, once upon a time, I would have thought I'm not doing that, and I don't care anymore. And whether it means something to somebody or not, it doesn't matter to me. I just do what comes through now. But this is what I got. I got all this stuff going on, and going from right to left. So that suggests to me it's some sort of maybe Egyptian Arabic type thing where they write from right to left. Okay. But I got then, bring, like the old keyboard. Back to
Yeah.
the, yeah. And that's what I got. I got, bring, start
Well,
again.
back to the seed, yeah,
Yeah.
like we've been speaking about. So the feeling that I had when you were doing this was just it's quite stern.
Yeah.
Like it was like step in, move aside, get on with it now. You're in the stored sun phase. You've got all the seeds you need. Now go sow. Go sow. Go slow, go sow. You can't rush this process. Go at your pace. You can't rush the seed. You can't say, look, I've got to go to work in an hour. Can you get growing? It doesn't work like that. Every seed has its journey here. Allow them to grow how they grow, and allow you to grow how you grow. What you need will present, but do you trust that? There's the big one for humans because no, well, I don't have enough money or my lease ends and you go, what do I need? What I need will show up and you got to believe it to the nth degree. And this is the biggest test for now because everyone's trying to think their way through it. And you can think this is what happens to us. You can think your way through it and it goes, did it? Okay, I'm going to give you an example. This is with Richard and I. Richard's something broke on the boat. And so Richard had to fix the trailer to take it for the journey to get it fixed because it's like a 2 hour drive away. So he's got to be on the freeway. So the trailer for the boat's got to be sound. And so it was the brakes. He's fixing the brakes. So brakes has been a really big deal for us in all vehicles. Anyway, he's rushing around because he's got to go the next day. Anyway, he said, I've got to race back into town. I said, I'll come with you because I don't feel like I've spent much time with you. And he looked at me and he went, okay. And I thought, oh no. Anyway, so I'm in the car. And I said, you need to stop rushing. You need to calm. You might get your boat there, but it might not be at the exact time tomorrow that you think. It might be a little bit later. And he turned and gave me the look of death. I'm getting my boat there. It's going to be there first thing in the morning. I said, no, no, just calm so you can think of all the things you need when you're at the store so you don't have to come back again. No, you're jinxing this. And I said, I'm not jinxing it. I'm just giving you space. Anyway, I was quiet the rest of the trip home, but I'm trying not to smile. Sure enough, Richard leaves at 4 a.m. with Ginger, and I'm in a Zoom. And then I hear Jet say, Aren't you two supposed to be going up the coast? So they've come home. They broke down where Jet had his accident at the tar heaven they call it. And it wasn't his brakes now, his springs had melted. So he had to come back home. And he looked at me and he went, "You did this." And I went, he actually ended up going, but he just went an hour later. And I just said to him, um, I think it happened this way for the whole family to see that yes, mum is, a spinner, but just she's allowing us to trust with that rather than the forcing, because the forcing created so much conflict, but yet I was still in the same place with him. Does that make sense?
Perfect.
Yeah, so you can have a smile at it, or you can have this, you can have both. You can have the passenger, or you can have the driver. The driver thinks they're doing creation, like you said, but it's the passenger over here going, I'm just going to enjoy the view. Just,
I get
you get
told.
what I'm saying.
I
It's
get told
funny,
off
right?
all the time because I have a smirk on my face. It's like, okay then. See, I'm being
Okay.
told more than give time, time, give time, time.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
nice.
it's an
Yeah.
AA phrase, that one, give time, time. And it means working God's time, whatever that means, or spirit's time, not your time, because your time is dictated to by your ego mind. Your ego mind is out of sequence with your pineal gland, right? So I get all that stuff coming in then. So you're out of sync then with your true bio and soul rhythms then. So why don't you just stop, just sit, open your heart and go with the instructions that come up from your heart and not what your head's telling you. And so many people are rushing around now. And what's happening is taking on board, it's a bit like feng shui that you talk about a lot. They're taking on board too many things. There's not enough time to do them properly, so they're making loads of mistakes. And that's what the opposition wants all the time, that we stay in this shallow sort of I can't think of the word. We lose our critical faculties really because we need to sink deeper so that we can almost like percolate and see all the different options. But what's coming to me, Elsa, more than anything else is Joe, tell them, because that's how they speak to me, tell them that there's a sequence of events, right? And if you just listen to the guidance of your heart and you take the action that your heart's guiding you to, even though you or some external experts may have different ideas, this truly is the shortcut path, right? This is fast track to spirituality, is being guided by the sequence that your heart sends you, not what your head sends you. And I know that's true now because I can feel when there's pressure coming in, either from my ego or from some external source. And as soon as I feel that grip, I think, whoa, just stop straight away. Don't think anything. Open your heart up, sink down, and say, show me what to do next, please. And that's what I do, and it gets on people's nerves, especially those that live with me or close to me.
Well, this is one thing that I share with, and it's great that you share too, because it does get on their nerves. It's annoying, but it's not that I'm doing it to annoy them, although it is funny.
Yeah,
Um, it isn't that I'm trying to annoy them. So it's just that, and that's in a household of 10, Dr. Joe, geez,
yeah.
especially. It's very, I mean, I'm laughing about it, but there's been times where none of them will talk to me. Like, it's, it, it is what, and I would say, I would love to turn it off. I would love to turn it off and go back to a normal life, but I don't know. I don't think the normal life is there anymore, what I thought it was. So I'm happy that it's not normal. I actually am happy it's not normal. I'm okay telling strangers that what I do, and then the stranger gives me the strange look, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I honestly am okay. I know because it comes from a kind and caring place. And I know, most of the time, every single person that I meet go, you know what happened to me last week? I had this thing fly across the room. And then they go,
I get that myself.
yeah,
I get, and I go, they say to me, "It's funny you should say that." And they go, "Oh, here we go, right?" I think, "Oh, really?" I said, "Well," and then what I do then is I said, "Well, what seems to be happening is right because I'm into yoga." I said they sort of predicted this. Seventh, did they really? Yeah. And
oh,
what's happening? And I said, I don't know what you feel about these things, but as the planets, well, like astrology, you mean? I think I've got them now. You see, what I mean.
yeah.
And then I say,
Oh,
and I've learned that it's all to do with your breathing. And if you breathe in a certain way and keep your eye on your breathing, you've got a much better chance of listening to what your body's trying to tell you. So why don't you just have 10 minutes out? And then I say, just do that for 3 10-minute sessions a day. And they all say, oh, I haven't got time for that.
oh, yeah.
And
Too
that's the
busy for
thing.
that.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm too busy for that. Where am I going to find 10 minutes out?
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's the
even
difficulty.
well, even the busy bee rests. We see bees and they rest, and I see them. I'll see bees. So I'll be outside in the sun and they're busy doing stuff, and then they'll come and land on my knee or on the chair, and I go, "Yeah, I know. I'm having a day like that too. You can sit here with me.
Yeah,
The bee. He's just having a break because he's been flying around. They do. They rest. They don't. A busy bee is even a false, interpretation of bee because they do rest. They sleep. They enjoy their honey, but they work it in. And this is what animals do. They work all this in and not overthink it. They don't refine it all the time. And it's funny because when we speak together, people would say that we're refining it. And I go, no, 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 we're not refining it. We're just like respinning it. We're respinning what is. So you can see both sides and then you can make a choice.
I
Because at
agree.
the moment, you're only playing one. You can't play a game with one. It has to be the two of you,
I
which is
agree.
seed again. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I see all the time, the hemispheres of the brain. And what I found out is in my teaching and stuff, is when people are stressed, they default to one particular side of their brain. And
Uh,
it's the default mechanism that they chose within the first 7 years of their life. Right. So what happens is, and we don't know that because it's happening in the four-fifths below consciousness that we're not aware of. So that's where most of our processing goes on. We're not aware why we come to make these choices. We think we know, but actually it's our unconscious mind that's sending. So we have instincts, then we have emotions, then the emotions emerge as feelings, and the feelings determine how we think that make the choices that we make, and that's it. And most people have got no idea of that. So how do you
so
know?
what's
Come
a
on.
four-fifths? You said it lies in the four-fifths.
Yeah, four-fifths is below the level of consciousness. So we've got like an iceberg, the top bit of the iceberg, right? That's the
Yeah.
1/5. But there's four
Yep.
fifths under the surface that we're not even aware of. That's where most of the information processing goes on. So we're not consciously aware of that. And it's only
Mm.
when you understand that all your choices have basically been picked below the level of your consciousness and based upon emotions and defensiveness. And where did we make those in the first 7 years of our life? That's why the Jesuits used to say, "Give me the child until he is 7, and I will give you the man." Because they knew that at 7 years of age, there's a whole load of programs there, mostly based upon coping strategies to defend ourselves. I'm on one now. So the whole point is that most of us, when we're stressed, we're working from childhood, right, defense mechanisms, you know. And it's only when you really get to a state of really rock bottom, when you have to, instead of looking outwards for answers, you have to turn in. And this is what spirituality is. You turn in and you start looking in to yourself. Where did I get these ideas from? Who am I really? And more to the question is, what am I? What am I? And that's when all the interesting journeys start then.
Well, so this is 7, 14, 21. So
Absolutely.
7, because this is Steiner's belief as well, and it has to do with tooth. Is it the tooth phase?
Okay.
When the first tooth comes to the when you lose your second set of teeth.
Okay.
And then you have puberty around 14, and then you have the number 21. So 21 is the unk go down. And it's
Yeah.
funny because at 21, that's when they dump everything on you. You have to leave home, you learn how to drive, you're legal to do a lot of things, you're an adult, and that'll keep them busy.
Okay.
So to understand the fourth and the fifth, you actually have to go to Wonderland, Underland, and do what the Egyptians do, the Ankh. So this is where the elders would come in, like this voice that you just had come through. They would push through, step through, and say, "This is how it is. Now walk forth your way and find you." We've had those elders turned off.
E- Exactly.
They've been turned off, they've been dumbed down with all the drugs, and they've been, we've had then Hollywood and movies not talk to the adults and the parents anymore, and they separate the whole family so that the parents are silly or stupid or not cool enough. Don't listen to them, listen to your friends. Now, the friends are in the school system, so it's much easier to manipulate mass consciousness with friends. Funny that that was one of the biggest shows. When people start to realize how manipulated all these shows are, those shows don't have the same energy. They lose their energy real. You know, the show that you always used to laugh at and you thought was really funny. Now you go, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That and you start to realize how you've been played or mined.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you'll go back to watch that comedy and it's just not even funny anymore. It's not even, I don't even, it's like, not, it's lost its complete ring or its appeal.
And the funny
So you
thing
don't
about
need
it,
it. Yeah.
there's stages, and each stage has a different state. And in
Oh,
that state, this is what I got clearly is in those different dimensions or frequencies, one stage might eat meat and the next stage mightn't.
yeah.
So if
And you might
somebody's
go
stuck,
back. Yeah.
yeah, if somebody's stuck in one stage, sometimes you need to go back. So that's why if you this is just my feeling and where I'm up to, I could be wrong, it's okay, no problem. But what I'm saying is if you have this rigid rule about what to eat and you're being guided back to that particular dimension or frequency to reset it, and you fancy a beef burger more than anything else, and you've got this rigid vegetarianism thing in you now, you're going to be really obstructed in this, there. It's really difficult. So people ask me all the time about intuitive eating. You have to trust that process as well. And from nowhere, there might be this massive craving to have a pork pie, right? And that's the only thing that's going to satisfy and reset the balance. But I mean, I fall out with people all the time. Well, I don't fall out with anybody really. I just say, no, this is the way I feel about it. And if I'm wrong, that's fair enough. But if I'm right, maybe you need to be open-minded about that as well. So that's what I do with
Wow.
people, really.
Well, so this lady who gave me this picture of the mother and child before I left, before the 777 order. This is so funny. She said the same thing. She says, you might need broth again. And I looked at her because I've been thinking about broth. And like you said, you might have stopped that food and then you have to go back to it. Maybe your seed needs to collect information from that. And it's requiring this again. Maybe it missed something or needs to have that cycle again through it. So there, like you said, there is no right or wrong. You have to just trust what you need, and that's why you can't judge someone else for what they do or eat, because how do you know what their seed needs to do?
I
And
agree.
so
I
it
agree.
falls, the whole judgment thing falls apart because you're in and so it's amazing, Dr. Joe, how easier it does become in some ways. I mean, it becomes trickier in some, but it does become easy because you're allowing everyone to just do their thing.
I think the only difficulty is if their behavior is actually physically threatening you. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
Because
it's
if it's not physically
interrupting.
threatening
Yeah,
you, if it's not physically threatening you, you can step away from it and think things through a bit clearer. But obviously, right, we have egos and instincts in order to defend ourselves in danger. But if it's not a physical threat, everything else can be given space to rethink again. But
yeah.
people get offended now. Well, I mean, we're going to say the N word now, and everyone's going, oh, he's not going to say it on live. Well, I'm going to. I'm
What's
going to say the N word, and here we go. Are you
what's
ready for this, everybody?
ah,
No, no. Oh, God, we thought he was going to say the other N word. You see what I mean? So just a
what's the other
sick.
N word?
I'll give you the clue. It rhymes with Tigger, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that word, right, causes
Hmm.
murder. But just the power of the programming, right, to
Mm.
say how much one single word, when expressed, can cause people to have an emotional reaction and become violent over it. And that's where the words come through. That's where the world is now, in my opinion, is that we're so indoctrinated now with you can't say that word, you've got to say this word. It's even
Well, what?
they're trying to regulate the way we speak now because we can't speak in colloquialisms because the spell checker says no, say it like this, and it will rewrite the sentence for you, right? And it's taken out all the flair, all that. It's cutting down sentences now, so you can't express yourself a bit more sort of poetically and stuff like this. It's trying to contain us in an either on or off situation. And I know that from an AI point of view, the way you get over AI is become more human, talk more slang, talk more colloquial because it can't get its head round. And that's what I love. I think that AI, if it's to be overcome, right, I've got no problem with AI. If it's to be overcome, right, it's the human quirkiness that will see it off, right?
Wow. Yeah. Well, I had uh with this passing one, I wrote, please do in the living realm. And AI and the text on my phone changed it to living room. And I was like, oh, wow. It changed. I didn't realize it changed it until I read back and I understood what was happening. AI has stepped in and said, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna do this like Mr. Hot. This is how I think of hot AI hotshot. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna take charge of all this. And but spirit comes in and goes, so we're gonna, so creation's playing with AI now as well. And that's what people forget. They think, oh, it's all this and it's all manipulated and it's all that. And spirit's going, I can use that. Or creation saying, I can use this. And so creation's using that side and this side as part of the project. So uh, it has been interesting because a lot of the people that have interviewed us have AI beings around them. And I'm sure you come across them too. So I'll be in the interview and an AI type being comes in and sits in the interview with us. Like, oh my gosh.
I,
And
I
but
see
and
AI as sorry, as like replicators. They used to be in Stargate. We used to have these things called replicators. So they've
yeah,
got no creativity of themselves, right?
yeah.
They've just got all they do is photocopying really what's gone before. Call it mimicry if you like, really. You know.
They collect well, you know what's just happened in Wilshire, right? Um, this is interesting. You can Google search it. On the I think 10th or 11th, they had a crop circle. The crop circle's a clown.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's a because this is the big one this is the message we've had for a long time about this phase is the clowns, the copies, and the clones fade or diminish. or minuscule. They just, and if you look at this crop circle, they call it the Joker. It's just near Stonehenge, which is coming up to solstice. We're in the solstice phase. The solstice to me is, yes, the solstice is that day, which happens to be Jack's birthday, Nubus energy. But it's 2 weeks either side. So it goes, we always say it goes to about the 5th, depends on what hemisphere you're in. We always call it the stalled sun phase, and it's not like a Mercury retrograde where everything goes back on itself. It's literally a pause and collect the energy. And this is what we're seeing with a lot of people. There's a lot of people like yourself, Dr. Joe, collecting the energy and reusing it, or they're over here trying to fix it. And because there's so much to fix, like you said, they're really busy. And you're not going to fix it. How are you going to fix creation? It's so cute, right? I'm going to fix creation. I'm going to get really busy. I'm going to wake up early and I'm going to fix creation by 5 o'clock. Okay,
I think you
that's
fix,
cute.
we can, my understanding is you get the day. This is the way I look at it. The employer is the universe as far as I'm concerned. And when I wake up in the morning, he's my employer. And so he gives me a job sheet for the day. So when I wake up in the morning, I'll open my heart up and I'll say hello. And I'll almost get like an internet connection in my heart. And I'll say, what have we got planned today? What's on the cards today? And then I'll get a sense of do that now, go and do that, go and do that. And I try and follow that. And because, I'm sort of it's hard to explain, but it's just a feeling. But it's like next week on the 21st, which is the equinox. I'm in Glastonbury giving a talk, you know. So glad, and so this is what happens to me is I get invited to places. Would you mind any chance of coming down and giving us a talk on the 21st? Well, my talk's called Freedom to Roam, right? Um, Tapping into 5D to neutralize 5G, it's called, right? So that's what I'm talking about, right? But if you get a chance, if you look at crops, not shops, that's the name of this thing. And it's all organic, it's all organically grown food, it's all that. It looks absolutely brilliant. Now, it's not my cup of tea wiping my bottom with a dock leaf. I'm not into that stage yet because I've done all that in me commando days. I've done all that sort of stuff, and I hopefully I don't need to go back to that there. So I admire these people who do that, and they're sleeping in the rough and all that. But there's a part of me that still wants that refined five-star hotel lifestyle, And so I can do that other stuff, but I've done such a lot of it. I want the other good stuff as well now. Anyway, so I've had to plan out because they're letting me stay there free and I get all my food free and all that. But I found out where the local swimming pool is and which has got proper toilets and a shower. So I have to make contingency plans when I go to these places. You know, I don't know why I've said all that, but I'm there now at the heart of, Glastonbury's supposed to be the heart chakra of the world and all this, whatever, you know. But it's funny what happens to me because I've got one side of me that's sort of fully into that, and then I've got another side of me that's fully into the science as well. And what they're asking me to do is all the time is simplify the interaction between the two of them. And this is what it comes to, Elsa. Just show them, Joe, is just become aware of your breathing. End of story.
Well, the reason they call it the heart is because it's gallstone berry. So gallstone berry is the belly of Eve, the place of entry.
Okay.
Stone berry. So stone berry is the seed. This is I don't know why I'm telling you this. Gallstone berry. Yeah, so it will be really heartfelt, but from deep down in your place of entry, your belly. Gallstone berry. I've never heard that this was the heart
Yeah.
of what do they call it? Can you
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that again?
Glastonbury's supposed to be the heart chakra of the earth.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, no,
Now I
that I
know
mean,
why.
but because it's supposed to be a powerful spot. But when I go down there, because I get things come into my mind, right, and I get that it's been offset, right, and I get the Glastonbury tour, which is like a big tall tower tour, But I get that the alignment really is slightly left of it. And every time I go there, I see this sort of crystal monument. And I get a feeling is that they're being realigned now so that they resynchronize together. And apparently, I mean, people tell me this. I'm a grid worker, and whatever. I don't know. I don't know what this means. I just go down there, like everybody else, put their hand up. I think I must have to put my hands up here. So I put my hand up, get a few funny feelings in my bum. And I think, oh, something's happening, right? But I've got no idea what's going on. However, every time I see this crystal thing, right? It takes me back to Jor-El, Jor-El, Superman's father, and all that like Antarctic crystalline stuff. I start getting all those pictures in my mind and I think, oh, here we go again. So,
Because it's this place where you're going is glass.
oh, I never thought of that. Good one.
Yeah, it's called Woad. The Woad place is glass place.
Okay.
Glass place. Yeah, so the Woad place is glass. So it's to see the two. I don't know what glass means because he builds a glass or crystal place in the with kryptonite. Remember
Yeah.
he real built his. So you're like a grid worker and you're going back there. I'm going to sit with that one in the sun today, Dr. Joe. That's really cool. I knew Glastonbury had amazing structures there and things like this, but and it doesn't present information to me until like you need it, right?
Yeah.
It's gallstone berry. You got to plant the seed. It's going to be a big day, a
No,
good
I'm looking
day.
forward to it. But as I say, I mean, I don't have any expectations to turn up and just get a
Yeah.
feeling and go with it, And whether and I don't care whether I'm a grid worker or not a grid worker, it doesn't matter. For some reason, I'm find myself going again, right? And the thing I love about Glastonbury is, right, there's a chapel there that's dedicated to Mary Magdalene. Now, I've got a big love affair with Mary Magdalene, and that's been with me all of my life, right? And you see, now it's coming up my spine now. And I think that in some way, I've chosen to be like a servant or in service to the sacred feminine energy. And that's where it takes me back to. It takes me back to Isis. It takes me back to Mother Mary. It takes me back to Our Lady. All the sacred feminine stuff. I seem to have been guided by that one all my life. And it's almost like when I show people to do heart rate variability biofeedback, that's actually resetting their nervous system to allow the feminine side of the nervous system to come back into alignment. And so I know that the neuroscience stuff I do and the vagus nerve and the polyvagal theory, all that sort of stuff, right? That's what I'm actually teaching now in a scientific way, but trying to simplify it and say to people, because I put people on a heart monitor machine and I say, now start breathing, and their heart immediately starts to change into a coherent pattern like that. And I say, that's you breathing, changing the way that your heart works. And the way that your heart works is now changing the way that your head's working. So rather than think yourself into well-being, you actually feel yourself into well-being. I've gone off on a tangent there, but that's what I do for a living, Elsa, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with it, and I know what I'm talking about. And if somebody wants to ask some sort of a hard scientific question, I'm like, go on, smart ass, let me just show you.
So can I go because this is funny for me. So so you go to these places and then they introduce you. So if they introduce you as a grid worker, do you ever have like your students go, that's that's not a grid worker, that's my professor.
No, no, no. Most of my students go onto my YouTube and have a look at it, and because don't forget, I've got two sets of students. One set of students are right into integrative medicine and all the woo-woo stuff. Right,
Mm,
but in university, you're not allowed to talk about woo-woo stuff unless there's some evidence behind it. So we're actually creating more evidence as we're going along. But the other
mm.
group of students I do, they're all consultant physicians, so they're all high up in the medical service, and I'm trying to get them to do Tai Chi and yoga and stuff like that because I
Oh,
know Elsa that the techniques I do they put people back into their heart. And once they're back in their heart, their intuition nabs them then, and they start to see the world in a different way. So spirit work in a wonderful way, much more clever than we humans are. So they almost like hijack them into being more compassionate and caring and expanded and stuff like this.
Are you finding a shift, the ones with the certificate? You are, yeah.
What's happening is
They're searching.
yeah, and what I do is the first lecture I give to them, right? And my academic colleagues didn't want me to do it at first, but I thought, get out the way, this is my life. So the first lecture I give is I put a case study up about somebody who was in the shit in a real difficult situation. And I'd say, what would we do with this man here? Oh, we'd give them citalopram to calm the anxiety, and we'd maybe give them some sort of beta blocker to reduce the this, that, and the other. So they all do the medicine stuff. And then I say, and look what he's done now. He's actually learned how to breathe properly. He's doing exercise, like we all agree, don't we? Exercise is good for, oh, yes, exercise is good for you. And he's looking at this diet and he's doing all these things. Let's see where he is now. And I go, hello, it's me. And because they're all stressed to hell, you see, they're all stressed and they come up to me and this is what I love. They come up and afterwards and they say, can I have a word with you? I say, yeah, what's up? I'm going through a bit of that stuff myself, right? Can do you do one-to-ones? You know what I mean? I haven't got a bloody
Oh,
time to do one-to-ones. And I say, no, no, but there's a workshop on so and so. And I've got like a group of people. I send people to their workshops where they're doing mindfulness and stuff like that on yoga or Tai Chi or all this stuff.
so they're like when I meet people, they go, "You'll never guess what happened to me last week." It's funny you say that, yeah,
Yeah,
because and so by us showing up and being the jesters that we are in spirit, and then this is happening. So it's snowballing, it's working. It just keep going, keep going. You think you got it all sorted, and then the springs go on your trailer.
yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
spring and
okay.
autumn. Spring and autumn, yeah. Or fall. Spring, yeah, pride comes before the fall, right?
Yeah,
But let me
yeah.
tell you this final story, and then we'll have to wrap up. I suppose love, we're going on a bit as we do. So, what's actually happening now in the NHS is the doctors, right, are so stressed that they want to leave the NHS now, right? And what they're doing is they've set up something called the British Society of Lifestyle Medicine. So they're calling it lifestyle medicine now. And health professionals, not just doctors, health professionals like massage therapists, physiotherapists, and all, they can join this British Society of Lifestyle Medicine. But what's actually happening, and I'm a member of it, right? What's actually happening though is there's so many medics coming in that they're trying to take over again now. See what I mean? This is what they do, right? Right. And they're all trying to get on the health and well-being bandwagon now. Right. Because they're all starting to say, oh, we overprescribe medications. So in one way, right, it's working, but there's always like an almost like an infiltration of the negativity that comes in. However, we're biting back now. Right. The scientists are biting back.
Well, you can't have that crop circle at Wilshire. I mean, that's brilliant. It's the Joker. It's going. It sees us. It sees us. It sees all the copies and clowns. You want to go that way, you're going to get that smiley face. And I don't know, that smiley face, I like knowing who that smiley face is, but I wouldn't want that smiley face at me. I like knowing the smiley, you know what I mean? Like yeah, we see failure in much things now
Yeah. Oh
because
yeah.
it's been overused, overworked, and it's had its time, but it's really, and I know you see it too, so you don't have to make a show about it and say, look at them, because the universe, creation is going bang, solar flare. And it usually, I can see every solar flare coming through, it's shuddering
Yeah. Yeah.
that way because they can't keep going with that energy. So I don't have to do anything except just keep showing up. And the more we are lifting others, triggers the sun to solar flare bigger.
I agree. And I think more than anything else is, and it's a shame that what I'm seeing is, as people are waking up, right, they're almost like pointing the finger back at others in the spiritual community and calling them out. But you see, I don't see this ascension as a linear process. I've always seen it as a global thing, really. So somebody might need to work on one particular frequency, and once they've actually put that back into place, they may fully get like lit up then. So if there's a rung on the ladder, there's almost like a hierarchical thing, and I honestly feel that it doesn't work like that as well. I see it in the, the at the core, right, is the heart or the Christ or whatever. Then we've got these 12 disciples or 12 different frequencies, each with a different stream of consciousness, different skill. Somebody might come here just to put that one dimension right. So that's why, in my view, you can't really tell where anybody else is. We're all at different places with different actions to take in order to reset the balance. So I think in a way, to point the finger at somebody else is just suggesting that I know better than you. And it's a sort of an arrogant thing, really, more than anything else. But don't get me wrong, I've been there myself, that's why I can clearly see it.
Yeah, well, when you hear that word blame, it has lame in it. So
Yeah.
when you hear the word blame, you just all of a sudden know they're going through stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's all. And so you just go, okay, well, he's just given me a gift because he's just done the blame thing. So that's okay. That's all
Yeah.
right. You just give him space. But your brain goes, I'm gonna tell them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one, that's the guy in you that you got to go, where'd that come from?
Well, there's a phrase that says, "Why tell a man with a broken leg he's got a broken leg?"
Ah,
Right?
of
And
course he
someone,
knows he's got a
well,
broken
exactly,
leg.
that's what I'm saying. Because as soon as he gets up to walk, he's going to find out, you see. So, is
Yep.
there any point in pointing it out? Because it's a waste of your breath, right? Because they'll experience it and find out for themselves, right? And that's what
Yeah.
I see. I've had to learn all this stuff myself, and I've still got loads of things to learn because you never stop, do you? This is the thing.
Mm.
And the other thing
Yeah.
is, though, right, this is what I keep getting more and more, is there's a complete difference between tolerance and tolerate. Right, we're learning to develop emotional tolerance, which is non-judgmentalism, but we don't have to tolerate bad behavior. And that's the thing, because sometimes as a human, we need to set boundaries and we need to say, hang on, enough's enough now, you know. And that's difficult for empaths because sometimes we'll suck on board all sorts of somebody else's shit and get covered in it, when really the best way to say is, I'm sorry, we're all here, we're all accountable for ourselves, we're all attracting at the soul level all the lessons that we need to learn. So that's yours. This is mine. Nice to see you. Off you go. So there is part of us, or me, that had to learn to say, no, I'm sorry. I've come to the end of me tether now, and enough's enough.
Yeah, you don't have to wear it.
No, no.
No, you don't have to wear it. So, I mean, you can if you really want to, but yeah, you don't have to wear it. So, oh, I know it's come to an end.
Got no
I
idea.
love,
As I say, I have to play it back, see what we've been talking about. But
yeah,
it's nice to see you. We've had a longer space, I think, because I think more stuff happens in that time. So
yeah. Well, thank you
hopefully, we'll,
for inviting me to see
yeah.
you again.
Oh no, no. So you'll give it a couple of months, and then we'll see what's going on in the meantime. And now, by all
Yeah,
accounts, tomorrow is going to be see. Here's a prediction, and I don't do predictions, but tomorrow or where you are today, right, going to be a massive day across the world apparently. But then I get then, yeah, but what's that got to do with you, Joe? All you've got to do is go for your park run in the morning, right, and look after the car in the afternoon because you've got
oh,
no power to change any of the stuff that's going on. But if we need you, we'll give you the shout. Right.
well, tomorrow is my birthday
Oh, is it?
and it's the 15th and I turn 51. So we're spinning
It is
numbers
spinning.
around there.
1551. That's good.
And my mum named me after Born Free. So maybe instead of remembering it as Elsa's birthday, remember that you're born free.
Yeah.
We're all born free.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
yeah.
Well, have a lovely, lovely birthday. And I
Thank
was
you.
going to say, oh God, 51, you've had a hard life. I thought, no, don't say that.
Don't
Oh,
worry, I'm eating my cake tomorrow.
all right, yeah,
I'll be
good, good.
happy.
All right, well, have a lovely time and lots of love to the rest of the family and keep in touch. And thanks very much and nice to see you.
Thank you, Dr. Joe. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.